Next we're going to welcome Carl Scalick. He's from Blue Pike Farms, an urban farm right over here in St. Clair Superior.
How about a big hand for Hannah and Lisa? We're going to need water soon. And a cigarette. At least one of them. One. So, hi, my name's Carl and I'm a farmer, and it's here today to talk to you about Monsanto and genetically modified organisms and the like. How many of you were here at this event last year? Anybody? A couple of you? So, what did you do in the last year?
Grow a garden.
Drive. You started a garden. I like that. I'm a bit conflicted about this whole GMO thing. No, I don't support them. I think they're a problem. I think GMO foods are a problem. And no, I don't want to be used as a science experiment either. How many want to be a part of that science experiment? None of us. But how many of you drove a car here today? Gasoline, ethanol, corn-based product? Yeah. It's tough to be against GMOs and still live in this society that we live in, because we're all supporting Monsanto, even in our own tiniest little ways. I hate to say it. We are all venal sinners. I was reading a story in Mother Earth this month about a young man in Australia, 7-year-old kid, grade school, and there were two takeaways from this story that I thought would be appropriate to talk to you about today. So the kid's in a grade school class. The teacher offers a prize or an incentive for some reading project. And the kid's parents are sustainable farmers in Australia. They're all into the good food thing, you know, no pesticides and eating well and all the important things that we all try and do for our families. And this kid wins a prize. Teacher sends him home with a lollipop. When you're a 7-year-old kid, lollipop's a pretty good incentive, wouldn't you think? Yeah. So the kid gets home and says to mom and dad, hey, there's this prize I got. Hey, that's cool, Johnny. You got this prize for the reading program. And the kid says to the parents, it's a 7-year-old, by the way, should I eat this lollipop? How many 7-year-old kids are going to look you in the eye and say, on the way home from Halloween, but mommy and daddy, should I eat the stuff that's in this bag that these strangers gave me? And the parents, because they're progressive and all this stuff, they looked at Johnny and said, well, what's in it? So the kid goes and he investigates what's in it. And as every little 7-year-old kid knows, you jump on the internet and you Google and blah, 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 and pretty soon he's got a dossier on all of the stuff that's in a lollipop. Now, he's 7 years old. He can't pronounce, let alone spell half of these words, and we probably couldn't pronounce half of the words that include the ingredients in this lollipop. So he decides that, maybe I think I'll pass on this lollipop. I'm not going to eat it because there's nothing any good in it. Oh, and it's probably got high fructose corn syrup in it. Anybody for that today? No, I didn't think so. So the kid says, I don't think I'm going to eat this lollipop. But then he says to himself, but my friends at school, they got lollipops too. They should know about this. So he goes off to school with this dossier of all the stuff that's in this lollipop that the well-meaning faculty and administrators of his school had given him. And the teacher goes, look at all this stuff that's in this lollipop. And the kid convinces the kids not to eat their lollipops. And then he ups his game and he takes a petition to this principal of the school. We want to eliminate lollipops and all this crap stuff that's in them from the vending machines, from the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. 7-year-old kid, right? What have you done lately? So the principal gets this dossier and he looks at it and says, okay, I'll take a look at it and we'll make a decision. A few days later he decides, well, you know, the evidence on, some of the evidence says it's okay, some of the evidence says it's not okay, some of the evidence says we don't know. He says, we don't know. So we're not going to make a decision. We're not going to eliminate the lollipops. So the kid's mother comes to school, talks to the principal, and the principal explains to her his reasoning for basically making a non-decision. There's no evidence that says that this is poison or it's bad for you. Sound familiar? And the woman looks at the principal and says, okay, there may be no evidence that says it's bad, and we're not sure if it's good, but why would you take the risk? I stopped and I reread that paragraph, and the woman said, why would you take the risk? And to me, that was the perfect rejoinder to the folks that are out there, GMOs, they're okay, nobody's dying from them, we're all eating them, and, we're all fat and happy, right? And she said, why would you take the risk? And so I say to you today, why do you take the risk? Why do our friends and neighbors and relatives and co-workers and everybody that's not our enemies, why would you take the risk? Sounds like the perfect answer to, I don't want to be an experiment. Why would you take the risk? The other takeaway that I think is appropriate, and an issue that I raised last year when I was here, had to do with being involved with the political process and standing up and being active. It's a beautiful day for a parade today, right? Beautiful day to be out protesting the great Satan. But what are you going to do Tuesday? There won't be any parades on Tuesday. At least probably not that I'm aware of anyway. So in order to make this happen, to get this change, to eliminate GMOs from our diets, to whatever it is you think you're here for today, we are all collectively going to have to get off our butts on Tuesday and do something differently. That might mean when you go to the grocery store that you don't buy packaged food that has high fructose corn syrup. Because as we all know, in this economy, in our capitalistic society, we vote with our dollars. And every time you go to, you buy something that has high fructose corn syrup, a GMO corn product or a GMO soy product in it, guess what? We are supporting Monsanto when we do that. So if you want to eliminate GMOs, if you want to reduce our exposure to these things, to the pesticides that come along with them, start finding non-GMO food products. And the easy way to do that is, of course, to buy certified organic. Because if it's certified organic, it cannot have a genetically modified product in it. So that's the easy way to do it. Find a farmer's market. Buy raw vegetables from your friendly farmer. And sometimes buy raw vegetables from not so friendly farmers. There are a few of us that are old and curmudgeonly and are no longer affectionately referred to as friendly farmers. In any case, these are the kinds of things that you can do. You may have to get involved with the political process. The state of Vermont passed some legislation recently requiring labeling. It's the third. Let's hear it for the folks in Vermont. What are we doing in Ohio? If I'm correct on this, there are now 3 states in New England that have passed labeling requirements for GMOs. 2 of those states have clauses that, they're trigger clauses. Our law doesn't go into effect until our neighbors pass the same kind of laws. Vermont did it one better, and they now have some legislation out there requiring, and they're not waiting for their neighbors to get on board. So that's 3 states in New England. We know that our friends in California tried hard, and their bill went down to defeat. And they're working on getting it through the political process this time, which is how Vermont got it done. No surprise it's not out of me, but God bless them if they can pull it out. And the same thing down the tubes in Washington. So what are we doing in Ohio? Why aren't we collectively, why aren't we doing something to get a ballot initiative for labeling in Ohio? Is anybody working on that?
Yeah, right there.
There we go. So we've got a petition over here. See, I came here today and I actually learned something. Who would have thunk it? So if you want to get involved, not only do you want to sign their petition, but maybe you want to volunteer to carry petitions to your friends and get people to sign up. If that's got Lincoln's face on it, it's mine. So, the 2 things I want to leave with you today. 7-year-old kid in Australia managed to get his school to to eliminate lollipops as prizes because of the crap that was in the processed industrialized food. If a 7-year-old kid can do that in his school, what can a 21-year-old or a 31-year-old or a 50-plus adult do in your school system, in your neighborhood, at your grocery store? Again, vote with your own dollars. The other takeaway is you're going to have to get involved. The marches are fun, the petitions are fun, but we collectively are going to have to get off our butts and be much more proactive in getting this GMO issue resolved. Drive a stake through its ugly heart. Thank you all for your time today. Don't trip on the cracks in the sidewalk. Sign their petition, and we'll see you all next year, and we're going to have a report. So we're going to do an evaluation to see how this is all working out. We're going to have some people come up here and talk about the initiatives that they started and the results that they've shown in the next 12 months. Anybody for that? Okay, thank you much.